So you're trying to figure out if you need a 5 kilowatt or a 10 kilowatt solar system. It's probably the biggest question people face when they're going solar. And, choosing wrong can cost you thousands. Or worse, it could leave you totally underpowered right when you need that electricity the most. So which one is it? 5 kilowatts, 10 kilowatts? It's a super confusing choice, right? Especially with all the conflicting advice floating around out there. Well, in the next few minutes, we're going to cut right through all that noise. My goal here is to give you a really clear framework so you can confidently decide for yourself.
Okay, let's just dive right in. Most of the advice you see online, it really only focuses on two things: the initial price tag and how many panels you get. But what really matters for a system that actually works and is safe are things like your real day-to-day energy usage, the right size battery, and this is the big one, some critical safety factors that honestly almost never get talked about. And these can make the difference between the reliable system and a genuine fire hazard.
So, the very first step to making the right choice is to just move past those simple estimates and figure out exactly what your home really needs. It all starts with your specific, unique energy consumption. And that brings us to the super important concept, your daily energy requirement, which we measure in watt hours. The best way to think of it is like a calorie count for your house's electricity diet. And we're not talking about a vague guess here. This is the precise amount of electricity all your stuff uses in a 24-hour period. Getting this number right is the foundation for, well, everything else. And calculating it is actually way simpler than it sounds. You just list out your main appliances, find their wattage, and take a good guess at how many hours they run each day. Then just multiply the wattage by the hours for each one and add it all up. That final number, that's your daily energy target. That's the number your new solar system has to be able to hit every single day.
Now check out how this plays out in a real-world example. Just look at the air conditioner. It only runs for 3 hours, right? But it uses almost 4 times as much energy as the fridge, which runs for 8. This is exactly why a quick guess just doesn't work. Those high-power items completely change the math and could be the one thing that pushes you from needing a 5 kilowatt to a 10 kilowatt system.
So once you have your daily energy number, you can start sizing your entire system. And the key thing here is to remember that a solar system isn't just a pile of panels. It's 3 core parts that all have to work together perfectly: the panels, the batteries, and the inverter. Let's start with the obvious one, sizing the panels. This is where we figure out exactly how many panels you're going to need to generate enough power to cover your daily load. And this part depends heavily on how much good sun your specific location gets. The calculation is actually pretty straightforward. You just take your total daily load, that number we figured out, and you divide it by 2 things: the wattage of the panels you pick and this key number called peak sun hours. That's really just a measure of how much strong sunlight your location gets per day. So someone in Arizona is going to have a way higher number than someone in Seattle. This simple math tells you if a 5 kilowatt or a 10 kilowatt system is even in the ballpark for what you need. But panels, they're only half the story. Now we've got to figure out how to store all that power. Sizing your battery bank is all about making sure you have enough juice to get you through the night or a cloudy day, and its capacity is measured in amp hours. The formula here looks kind of similar, but check out that last part, depth of discharge. This is a huge deal. It basically means how much of the battery's total fuel tank you can safely use without wrecking it. And as you're about to see, this single factor can literally double the size of the battery bank you need to buy. And this is exactly why the battery chemistry is so important. A modern lithium iron phosphate battery that's a LiFePO4, it's like a modern gas tank. You can safely use almost all of it. An older AGM lead-acid battery is totally different. You should really only use about half of its capacity if you don't want to cause permanent damage. So what does that mean? Well, for the same amount of usable energy, you'd need a much larger, much heavier, and shorter-lived lead-acid battery bank. All right, last but definitely not least, let's talk about the brain of the whole operation, the inverter. Its job is to take that DC power from your panels and batteries and convert it into the AC power your house actually uses. Sizing it correctly is absolutely critical to make sure the system can handle all your appliances without breaking a sweat. There are 2 numbers you absolutely have to get right. The continuous rating has to be higher than the total wattage of everything you might run at the same time, and the surge rating has to be high enough to handle that big initial kick of power needed to start up motors. Think of it like the extra oomph your car needs to get going from a standstill. If you get this wrong, your system will just shut down right when you need it most. Okay, now that we've covered performance, we need to talk about something that's frankly even more important, something most guides just gloss over, and that's critical safety mistakes. And I want to be crystal clear here. Mistakes in a solar installation aren't just costly fixes that might damage your expensive equipment. They can be genuinely, seriously dangerous. And these aren't just theoretical risks. They have very real consequences. Overloading an inverter or using wires that are too thin isn't just bad practice. It's a major fire risk. Getting the polarity wrong can instantly and permanently destroy your panels. And here's one few people consider. In very cold weather, panel voltage can actually spike way beyond what your inverter can handle, frying it completely. Even how you connect your panels together has a huge impact on safety and efficiency. If you wire them in series, you increase the voltage, which lowers the current and lets you use smaller, more manageable wires. But if you wire them in parallel, the voltage stays the same, but the current goes way up, and that demands much thicker, more expensive cables to be safe. Okay, I know that was a lot of technical stuff. So let's pull all this information together into a simple cheat sheet to help you finally make the right choice based on your specific goal. So here's the bottom line. It all boils down to this. What is your primary goal? If you're just trying to lower your electric bill from the grid, your decision between a 5 kilowatt and a 10 kilowatt is really all about that daily load calculation we did earlier. But if you have heavy loads like a big AC unit or you're charging an EV, you have to prioritize a larger inverter. And that almost certainly means a 10 kilowatt or even bigger system. And for full off-grid backup, battery capacity is king, which also points you towards a larger 10 kilowatt system, just to keep those batteries charged up. Okay, before we finish up, please remember this. High voltage electrical work is extremely dangerous. This whole explainer is for educational purposes, to help you understand the concepts. Always consult with and hire a qualified professional for any actual installation. Seriously. So you see, the choice between a 5 kilowatt and a 10 kilowatt system, it isn't just about the cost or how many panels you get. It's about your real-world usage. It's about matching the right components, and most importantly, it's about safety. Now you have the framework to ask the right questions and demand the right answers. You know the what. The only question left is, are you ready for the how?